Okay, tôi nhớ là tận đây nó Dr. Jana nếu có giờ ít tu một phần sửa cho họ bắt đầu nào thế thì chỉ nu chỉ bảo luôn Hmong trong cái họ nu là hay nó cái bên chỉ thì ít tu xài nu hay tiền là ở nó cái hay tiền nên cứ họ sắm bảo hay tiền tan nó cho lùi cho đã chỉ nó là nó bên tiền nên tôi thay thế này dọ cái tỏ cá nó cái bên giờ hay tiền đi sắm bảo cho nu họ nó thản tới nó cái bây giờ mua cho tông tới nó lấy cho luôn nó xài nè, còn nếu họ tông nó hay thì thầu tu doctor của nữ hay luôn mình càng ngon xứ nữ hay họ cho xài tổ lý chán cái bé cũng mà đi mua cho nó xài vào trong này thiệt.
Cô bé của Dr. Jana Hmoob, yo itu sifun yong how University of Wisconsin Whitewater, cô Neng Xiong how Wisconsin, cô Neng tua te co Europe tua, cô pa lu mong to, cô pa lu mong Jean to si, cô lu English, zati cao cô. My work is in language reclamation. So this is when we reclaim a language that is slowly being lost and keep it from being lost, so our future generations have the language with them and also can continue it to be strong. There are many ways to think about language reclamation, and this group is a very powerful one because language reclamation asks everybody in the community to do their part, and it honors that there is much knowledge and expertise that can only be found in the community. It cannot be found in the universities, and it cannot be found in academic books and journals. And this is why we are so honored that you are all here with us today. I want to talk a little bit about why we have chosen to do this work, why it is important, and who else we have to learn from other indigenous language communities who are also saving their languages for their future generations, for many generations to come. And I'd also like us to talk a little bit about the importance of community expertise, of your knowledge, and also that we do not all have to agree in doing language reclamation. Part of community expertise is hearing the many ways the language lives so that it can live in its true ways forward. In language reclamation, there are three ways that we usually talk about reclamation. We use three words. We say reclamation, we say revitalization, and we say reinvigoration. Reclamation is usually for languages who have gone to sleep or are sometimes called dead languages. There are no more native speakers. The language lives in memory, and sometimes it has been documented, but nobody uses it. For those languages, the only option is to try to remember how the language might have sounded, remember how the language might have been used by different people based on how it was written down by linguists. We're very lucky that Hmong is not in this place. Another way to talk about language revitalization is when there are some elder speakers left. There are some native speakers left. And in language revitalization, it is only a very few who have the language and have the knowledge of how to use the language in stories and songs in different times of years and in different parts of our lives. For language revitalization, this is a desperate time. This is when a language will disappear in this lifetime if it is not saved today. This is a time when linguists will sometimes come in and say, we will help you, we'll write down the language for you. But it is because it sees that the language is going to go to sleep and it will lose its speakers. We are very lucky because Hmong is not in a language that needs revitalization. The third way of doing this is called language reinvigoration. And this is when we have been taking a nap and we wake up and we have to shake ourselves out and bring ourselves back to our strength. This is where Hmong is. This is a very good time to be doing this work because in one more generation, Hmong can move to revitalization, and in 2 more generations, it can move to language loss. This work has to happen now, though, because our elder speakers of Hmong are leaving us. We have many powerful Hmong language teachers who have been doing incredible, creative, and innovative things to make sure that there are native speaker children coming through even our US schools, which do not love languages, but our Hmong language teachers love the language. And we have children now who come up as native speakers because of that. We're very lucky to have so many Hmong language teachers with us and their expertise of how to keep the language strong for the future. For Hmong language, it's a very special language. It's very exciting for me to be invited to share in this with you because Hmong language is a language that has speakers globally. Many people live it and use it every day, so much so that internationally, linguists who study language loss and saving languages view Hmong as a language that is not yet endangered because there's so many speakers in different parts of the world. However, Hmong is a special language too because we know that in the forced displacement to places like the United States, that's not the same situation. So Hmong can be lost in the United States will still be used globally. This is where this project has a lot of power and possibility. We also have a language that has many dialects in Hmong. Dialects work differently in different languages. In English, for example, there are many different ways to use English, but they are not considered their own unique part of the language, where if one language piece is lost, the language will also be lost. In Hmong, all of the dialects must be saved for the language to stay strong as a whole for the future. And so because of that, we have something very unique here too, and that is that Hmong language can be saved for the future in the United States, but certain dialects can still be lost. So we have to also, in this work, think about Hmong Da being strong and held for the future, Hmong Leng, Hmong Chua being strong and held for the future. Otherwise, the whole Hmong language is not strong and held for the future. And that is also why this is a very special group and very exciting time to do this work, because both dialects are still strong, and both dialects can work together to keep the language for the future. In language reclamation and revitalization and reinvigoration, if one dialect is lost, the language itself can be lost. Yes. This is where your work comes in and your expertise and knowledge is needed. Linguists don't know enough about Hmong, but you all do. And this work is impossible without you. So you are the academics and the intellectuals. You are the linguists. You are doing the work that academia is not able to do. You are all the professors. You are all the researchers and scholars. And this is a very powerful group to do that.